It's what you just did. You can't
Oh.
make the face. You got to be like stone faced and going, I got it. You know what I mean?
All right, here we are. Welcome to Daddio, everybody. I am one of your hosts, Glenn Tickle.
And I am one of your other hosts, Ricky Glore. Welcome to the Daddio Good Time Fun Hour. That is the new name of the podcast because we
Made it
originally
longer.
named it Daddio to help sell tickets for our co-headlining shows all across the United States.
And how'd that work
didn't
out?
happen. That did not happen. Tanya got to witness it firsthand as she opened for us in Columbus, Ohio. And she said because that was such a slog that we had to help promote her more on a podcast.
Yes, so everyone welcome Tanya Vora to the show.
Hi, everyone.
Hello there. So Tanya, you and I have known each other through threads mainly for a bit now, but we actually met in person for the first time at the Columbus show, so that was exciting.
Yeah, it's very fun to meet people off the internet. I haven't done that in a long time, so that was
Yeah, I think I mentioned it there. I'm like, it's different when it's like a mutual versus somebody who just follows you, you know, where it's like, oh, like not that we
Your guys,
know.
the terminology is so gross.
Why is that
Like
gross?
you are both live
Why is a
entertainers.
commonly accepted term that's like a decade old now gross?
it is actually, from like Instagram. I think that's where it came from.
Okay. Commonly accepted things can also be gross. I think history has proven that, Glenneth Tickleth. I'm going to take off my seatbelt because I am not currently driving, and I don't know why I left it.
I mean, hey, safety first, man. You got to keep that bad boy on. Anything can happen.
Daddio podcast is going to get crazy.
You don't know. Oh, seatbelts off. It's getting wild. Now we can fully see the creepy kid from, is that Shrek 4, the creepy kid shirt?
Hell yeah. Didn't even know this movie existed until my twin boys started watching all the Shrek movies. Says, I love you, Daddy. This scene, the movie's 10 years old now. They are doing a Shrek 5. Thank God. We need another one to put on.
We
repeat.
do. At this time in our nation, yes.
Our nation needs it to heal.
Yeah.
Now
Crazy.
more than ever.
Tanya, are you familiar with this child from Shrek 4?
I'm not. I don't even know if I watched Shrek 4. So
Ooh, Shrek 3 sucks. So that might have been what got you
I
off
saw
the
Shrek in theaters, and that's it.
Okay.
Shrek
good
1,
on
2,
Shrek.
solid. Shrek 3, real bad, real forced. Timberlake's in it. He's not what makes it bad, just isn't good.
Yeah.
Shrek 4, I didn't know there was one, and then I watched it. This character, this scene within the first 20 minutes is possibly the funniest fucking thing I have seen in a really, really long time. And I'm not saying it's that way for everyone. It's just like it has become shorthand for my wife and I. It's this little like Dutch boy. He keeps on asking his dad when he sees Shrek to make Shrek do his roar for him. He's like, do the roar. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to come on, do the roar, Daddy. Like, it's so, you have to watch it. It's on Netflix.
I've only heard Ricky do the voice. I've never seen it.
That's your only takeaway.
I don't like it.
Hit this shirt and Ricky doing the voice is my only point of reference for this.
I love you, Daddy. Yeah,
We don't need to watch it. I think that's
I feel like
got
I've lived it, you know.
We got it. Yeah.
Well, I am in my car and I had to take the seatbelt off, and that's why we have to do a shorter episode. Glenn and I both have appointments today. I have an appointment for my 6-year-old daughter's 504. Are you familiar with that is, Tanya?
No.
That is my daughter Anna has extreme ADHD and has been diagnosed anxiety as well. So a 504 is a thing you have to do with a school to make sure that your child that needs more assistance gets it, and they have to do it. I love that that's where we're at. We're just like, look, we have to safeguard early our 6-year-old child, because as her therapist have said, like, we really suggest you get it as soon as possible, because the older she gets, the harder the school is going to make it for you all to get your daughter the assistance she needs while learning and testing.
It's a cool, great system we live under.
Education's awesome.
There's no issues.
Is there anything else going on in the world? I don't think,
No, pretty
Everybody got a
quiet
headache?
week news-wise, I think. Not a ton going on.
Specifically for comedians, too. Like, nothing happened.
Yeah, no big comedy events that may have happened. I have not watched, we mentioned, I think, briefly last week, Kimmel getting yoinked. Was back on last night. Yeah. I saw like one still shot and a brief quote, but I've not watched the return engagement. I've also not watched the show for like
Same.
20 years. Yeah.
Yeah. 20 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I
It's been on
watch
way longer
clips.
than I expected. Yeah.
If somebody drop, if a clip's going around and I watch it, I like it. But except for when if I'm working on a packet, I will watch a bunch of late night stuff. Or if I'm like teaching comedy writing, I'll watch a bunch of it because like, even though I don't do a ton of monologue, setup, punchline jokes in my regular act, I was like, well, it's good. It's a good writing exercise, if nothing else, to like read the news and think of little jokes about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I will probably watch at least the beginning part. Once he brings a guest out to talk about whatever TV show I've also not seen, then I'll probably dip. But
right. Is that your full-time job? You do comedy writing?
No, I just do comedy. That's the main job. I've written for a couple different websites. Haven't done that in a bit.
He wrote for a really, really cool show.
I wrote for this bullshit puppet show run by an absolute dickhead.
Maniac.
He was a real piece of shit. It was Ricky. But I stand by what I said. Real piece of garbage.
That was our first, not our first, but that was one of my first times trying to legitimately sit down and read current event news, which was also a terrible thing to do during COVID.
Yeah, you picked a great time to be like, hey, do you want to pay more attention to the goings on of the world?
And that's why it ended. We did it for a few months. It was called Weekend Update. And it was basically what if Weekend Update was done by a puppet that sounded like a higher voiced Norm Macdonald named Norm Macdonfelt. And it started as a 5-minute thing and ended up growing into an original 30-minute show produced weekly during COVID that we ended up having like Lisa Loeb, a crazy amount of weird random guests popping on because they had nothing to do with COVID. They had nothing to do during that time. So they were.
Yeah, no one could be like, oh, I can't, I'm busy. No, you're not.
Yeah. You're in a basement.
Where can I watch this? That sounds amazing.
Oh, it's on YouTube. I mean, you'll be the judge. But yeah, that was a fun time to be like, all right, let's doom scroll and do it through puppets. Let's just get out all of our aggression at these dum-dums and just do it through puppets and snarky criticism. Tanya, how's your story of stand-up? Where are your humble beginnings?
I am from Akron, Ohio. That's where I started. My parents moved here from India. I'll start way back. That's where comedy started.
Let's go way back. It was 12-12. You just start doing your own Hamilton, but it's just you and you like your heritage.
So let's make that happen. But my parents are like, they work in medicine. My dad is a doctor. And so like all throughout my life, there was never I was not going to go into the arts, even though I wanted to. Like I had like a diary from when I was like in 5th grade and I wrote like what I wanted to be when I grew up. And it was like an artist. And that was ignored by my parents. We quickly moved on from that. Yeah.
Next option.
Next,
you're not doing that
one.
Not saying you needed the specificity of like what kind of artist, but I do love that 5th grade you was just like, I know what my parents do. I know what other people do. I'm not going to do that. I just need to find a way to do something that involves art in the broadest sense. Yeah.
Whatever. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Get me out of Ohio. But yeah, so I applied to Ohio State pre-med and then changed it the first week to international relations. But I eventually ended up wanting to go to design school at OSU. And then, sorry, this is a much longer explanation. I went down the tangent.
No, we're into it.
So,
yeah, I love it.
I wanted to go to design school. So I was like, I really like, this is like eating me alive. Like, I don't want to be a lawyer. Like, I don't want to be a doctor, lawyer. So,
around what year are we talking?
I went to OSU in 2010 and then I graduated in 2014. And like 2 years before graduating is when I made the switch to communications. And that's where I learned about human-computer interaction. And that's how I learned about user experience. That's my full-time job. I do user experience consulting. And that's like the closest I've been able to get to the arts at that time, because now I work with like graphic designers who like went to design school and do the arts. So anyways, it had always been eating at me though for years of like, I'm not actually like doing art. And then I started doing business pitch competitions in 2017. And that's the first time I like spoke into a mic. And then I realized
like Shark Tank.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, cool. So
Yeah.
it's like a debate team, but pitches, right?
Yes, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like they're called hackathons, and Startup Weekend is a global one. Yeah. Startup Weekend's a global one. A lot of like tech people do this.
Yes.
And then the one that I participate also, there's a local one called Give Back Hack, where you pitch ideas that have like a component of social good in the business model. So I did those throughout from 2017 to 2019, and I was speaking into mics, and that was like literally the first time I ever thought, oh, maybe I'll do stand up at some point in my life. Like, because I was up there like,
did you get a laugh? Like, was there
did.
anything like specific? Like, was there something you were just like, ooh, I like this. I'm gonna search and chase this dragon now for the rest of my life, for good or for bad?
Well, I literally, because I was like up there, and I think I joked about like, what about airplane food? I don't know, just just to throw away Seinfeld, but and I got a laugh, and I was like,
if you did a character that was female Seinfeld, like you just went up like with no announcement, like no whatever, and you just went up there and did Seinfeld's act in your best worst Seinfeld impression.
Yeah,
that would be amazing. I'd pay for it.
Okay.
I can't disagree with that statement more.
That's another recurring.
Yeah, I don't know if it came up in Columbus, but I hate Jerry Seinfeld with the passion of a thousand suns.
It's mainly comes up a lot dating a 17-year-old, correct?
That's a big one. Yeah, it turns out if you're in your 30s and you date children, it makes me kind of lose my taste for your
wait. Did you do double thumbs down?
Oh,
does it matter the face? Yeah.
Ooh, doing double thumbs down, is that like a shortcut on your phone to turn your camera off? That would be handy.
Must be. I did it, and a little note came up. And
I forgot I'm nude. No, turn the camera off.
They were like, "Do you want to add like hand gestures to add like different little special things?"
Yeah.
I was like, "No, I want the camera that I'm currently working and recording on to not turn off." Well,
yeah, when Zoom added that feature, it made doing virtual shows even worse. Because as a guy who will like sometimes talk with my hands a bit on Zoom shows to make it a little more engaging, I'll be like, "Oh, well, I was doing this," and then a little hand waving thing comes up. It's like, no, stop it. I think for a while they were trying to do one that would like read your face and like have an emoji that would match it, and I was like, well, I have that one. It's always just the same emoji for me.
Also incredibly unneeded. I'm giving you the emoji on my face.
Well,
I don't need.
I appreciate it as like a possible autism accommodation of like, oh, it would help if everybody could just. There's a great in the movie Frank that I've talked about, the fictionalized version of the life of Frank Sidebottom, because it's a guy. I don't know if you're familiar with Frank Sidebottom. He was a performer in the UK. His real name was Chris Seavey. He just wore a big paper mache head and would like sing and do jokes in a funny voice. And in the movie, it's Michael Fassbender in the big head, and the main character is like joining his band for the first time. He's like getting to know him a little bit, and he's like asking questions about like, oh, like what are you doing with your face under there? And he goes, would it help if I said my facial expressions out loud? And the first time I saw that movie was well before I knew I was autistic, and I was just like, it would be so much better if everyone just did that all the time. Because it's a big paper mache head being like bemused grin. It's like, yeah, God, it'd be so helpful.
Just reading stage directions for how you look.
Yeah, it's the Kevin Sorbo frustrated thing or disappointed.
So good. Yes. So Tanya, so you got into stand-up probably about the best time that you possibly could. Pre-pandemic, 2019. You didn't even start then?
No,
even
sorry. No. I just started writing jokes. I had that one joke. I copied Jerry Seinfeld, and I killed and I crushed, and I was like, I don't need to do it for years.
Time to date
no, in 2019. I just started
awful to host that.
I just started like writing jokes in my notes app in 2019. I like looked back like when the first one was. It ended up being my closer later on. Anyway, so then I got the guts to do it in 2023. So it was post-pandemic in Columbus, Ohio. So yeah.
Wow, you really worked, like you really spent time like rough drafting, workshopping. Were you super precious with that? I'm guessing probably a 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute set somewhere.
Not
you remember how long?
2023. I was just doing the thing where you just like add thoughts to your notes.
Mhm.
I really wasn't. I
Mhm.
really didn't know anything about comedy writing or stand up. I just knew I liked certain comedians, and like Ali Wong is a huge influence around that time. It was also around the time that Marvelous Mrs. Maisel came out, and like I'm sometimes embarrassed to admit like that did influence me a little bit to like pursue
No.
stand-up. It was huge.
Don't be embarrassed, because I mean, the touchstones of comedy, like how Glenn was saying before, he doesn't typically write set a punch, kind of like a late night show. The Marvelous Miss Maisel, obviously, it's not a documentary. I don't think that has to.
Lenny Bruce is in it.
And I was a
the
big
guy doing
fan
Lenny. I forget his name. The guy doing Lenny Bruce on that show was doing a legit great job. I mean, I like that show. I don't think I caught.
Sexy.
He's
like
sexy.
that dude. Like the real Lenny Bruce was a little skeevy.
He was.
Yeah, but that dude is like. But no,
Kirby.
Marvelous Miss Maisel actor. He's steamy. He looks like a detective.
Lenny Bruce also hot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, I dug hard into Lenny Bruce in college, and even wrote I wrote 2 plays in college. I wrote one which was a fictitious if Martin Dies of the House Un-American Activities Committee had served chaplain to testify in McCarthy trials, because they talked about it. And Glenn and I have also talked about this. Glenn's great uncle is Ed Sullivan.
What? Okay, Nepo baby.
I don't know.
Yeah,
we are distantly related. I don't remember exactly how. Like he's my grandma's second cousin or something like that.
Wow.
But after writing that and then getting into Lenny Bruce, and just the history of kind of stand-up of him doing it in strip clubs and whatnot, and falling in love with the idea after the fictitious chaplain play that Lenny Bruce actually did go to trial, and there was a trial of Lenny Bruce, I was like, fuck, I can look up the court transcripts and just make this a play. And then I found out after writing it, there already was a play. I don't know why.
That was also like his act the last,
yes,
months or years
and
of
that
his
was
life
part
was
of
basically just reading court transcripts angrily on stage.
I thought that would be I was like, oh, this would be a really cool play. And then after writing it and using his act, using the transcripts and just making it like this 4-person play, I then found that it already was this play that they had done in the 70s and was kind of this more of this like absurdist theater kind of version. And I'm just like, this is brilliant. I was like, I would love to see a performance of this, and then threw my play away because mine was garbage compared to that one.
That'll happen.
But yeah, Marvelous Miss Maisel, like I think getting the kind of the Disneyfied version, even though there are hardships that are based on history within that movie. I think the presentation of the comedy, which is always the hardest in any kind of film or television show, right? One of the worst ones is Tom Hanks and Sally Fields in Punchline.
Yeah. You know how we're all hanging out in the locker room at the comedy club before the show?
And that there's shower. So in this movie, this late 80s, I think, or early 90s, it's Sally Fields as a mom, and she gets divorced.
She's basically Roseanne.
Yes, it is the story of Roseanne.
Where she starts stand up later in life and like befriends Tom Hanks. But
at the comedy club, they have a locker room with showers.
Portrayed is so far, and it's not even like, oh, that's not how it is anymore. It's like it was never this. This was never the system.
It was like an alien was tasked with writing a movie about baseball. And like the only thing they maybe got right was that there's a location, a field, and that there are hot dogs. Like that's about as close as.
I haven't seen it in years, but I might have to give it another watch.
I have a random fun fact. I'm sorry not to derail
Let's hear it.
But I randomly Googled.
I would love it if Ricky would stop talking.
I randomly recently Googled why it's called a green room. I guess like around like Shakespearean time, because it was the room was literally outside on grass, like, and it's like calming also to be with that color. But now the green rooms I'm in, if it's painted green, it's like a disgustingly like highlighter green.
Putrid. Oh yeah, or that piece.
It's like chroma key green, so they can shoot videos back there when shows aren't going on. I've heard a couple different explanations for why it is called that.
Am I wrong?
Years. So I don't know.
Glenn just doesn't trust Google because Glenn thinks he's smarter than all technology.
I mean, yes.
Glenn is a smug genie. Like, look at him. Like, if he came out of a genie lamp and asked you, like, said, like, you get 3, well, he'd be like, you get 1 wish. He's
this
like,
is
you get
because
1 wish and think about it for 5 years.
A headshot that I got, I have my arms folded, and I said that it looks like it makes me look like a smug genie, so I don't like using it. But Ricky says it's a good picture, but keeps making fun of me for being a smug genie, which implies that he agrees that it makes me look like that. He's just into it. He's just into it like a little nasty freak.
With being born in Akron, did you leave Akron when you started doing stand-up, or did you do it there? And are you familiar with the Funny Stop?
The Funny Stop is down the street from my parents' house. So and I've never performed there because every time I go home, I'm like with family. We have like a family event. So I've never gone, like, I don't even know when their open mic is. But no, I grew up there and then left when I was 18 to move to Columbus, which is 2 hours away from Akron. Akron's in the northeast.
Other side of the world.
So I honestly don't know much about Akron because I moved before I could even drink alcohol and like explore the city. You know what I mean? So I just know Columbus very well now. I've been living here since 2010.
What was it like when you first started putting all these thoughts from your notes app into your first sets? Did that first time performing, did you get that same feeling that you did while you're doing the hack, or or were you like, oh no, when the main focus is comedy, this isn't it. Like, it's easier when the bar is lower and it's a different, like, your goal is to do something else. But when the goal is like, this is comedy, make us laugh. Did you get a different feeling, or were you like, okay, this might be harder, but or was it? How was it?
Honestly, it's so funny. So I have a lot of anxiety with like performing on stage. I don't know. Do you all deal with anxiety before getting?
Not about.
We're middle-aged white dudes.
Yeah, not about being the person standing in front of everyone talking. That doesn't bother me. I get anxious about if people are going to come, or if it is like, I'll do college showcases where basically like you do a 10-minute set and then just kind of hope that colleges book you for the year and you've not blown a bunch of money to be there for no reason. I will get anxious about like, oh, no one's going to come to the show, or schools aren't going to book me after this. But like the part where I just have to talk for 10 minutes, I'm not worried about that part.
Yeah, it's easier now. But when I first started, it was like, so it was easier than doing the pitch competitions. The pitch competitions were so stressful because I'm pitching to real investors. Like I pitched my ideas I won money for one of my ideas, and it was like so stressful because the memorization part is honestly the hardest part for me, because when I get too anxious, your brain blocks it out. It's like you just black out on stage. So I used to just like memorize a script and not really not interact with like the judges or the audience during those pitch competitions. But yes, when I did stand up, it was a little bit easier. It was less stressful, still nerve wracking, but I was just up there reading from my diary. And I happened to have a really good first set, and that was what motivated me to keep going. And also like that same day, it was at an open mic. There were a couple women who came up to me and were like, we need to include you in the group of women who are doing comedy in Columbus. And that helped me keep going and like feeling better about it. And they gave me advice. And so that was very nice.
I like that you said doing a show in front of investors was harder, where I think I don't get anxious. I get it's not anxiety and it's not nerves, but it is, I really want the audience to be entertained. Like Glenn talked about, like after a show, if someone comes up and like, oh my gosh, that was so clean. Thank you. I didn't even know you're a clean comedian. And it's like, well, I'd rather just hear, thank you for being funny. Like I would rather like not be a surprise that it was the cleanliness.
Right. Say it was good first. Yeah. And then be like, oh, and it was clean. Like, that's fine.
I get in my head sometimes and it's not all the time, but I want to make sure, like, I'm going to do my best to entertain you. But if at any point, like I start getting this feeling that's just like, not that they don't like me, but I'm just not doing anything that is causing them any enjoyment. And I know that's such a weird thing to say with stand-up, but that is the hardest thing going for me, being someone who's done it since 2005. right now I feel like I'm starting out again. And so I am having a little bit more nerves, but it's not the anxiety of like, boo, I don't know if I can get up on that stage.
Yeah. That's so interesting because the landscape's totally different. Like technology is different. Social media didn't exist back then. I don't know if do you listen to Caleb Huron's podcast?
Mm-mm.
It's very good.
I just watched a special over the weekend though. It's tremendous. I highly recommend it. I couldn't text you, Ricky, to tell you to watch it because I wanted to talk about it because I was watching it in a bathtub, which lately is my preferred way to watch comedy specials on the road. Because if I'm in a hotel that has a bathtub that will accommodate a 6 foot tall big boy, I'll get in there and I'll bring my tablet and I'll watch. I watched Tyler Rothart's comedy special from a bathtub. I watched the first night of Glenn Tickle Tries to Be a Person from the Rochester Fringe. I watched that in the bathtub to like take notes to change it for the next night. Then I watched Caleb's. It's a great way to do it.
You're disgusting. Just sitting in your own filth while chuckling.
I didn't have my
naked.
phone handy
Ew.
to text you. And my fingies were all soapy, so I couldn't.
It actually sounds quite nice. I'm gonna try that.
It's great. I can't recommend it highly enough.
But he has an episode with Steph Tolev. Do you know who Steph Tolev is?
Yeah.
In her episode, I'll just send it to you after this. But there's a whole part where she started in 2005 as well, and she's now trying to figure out how to like make it in this industry, and it's a lot of like content creation and social media and doing things that are out of your like wheelhouse. And like, but then she notices there's a trend of like TikTok comedians selling out funny bones because they have a large following, but like they're kind of like ruining the quality of stand-up that like audience expect.
That's where I got started. Was
I don't actually
the funny bone. I was a server and had been auditioning for my college's improv team and wasn't getting on and wanted to find this outlet for comedy. I had done sketch in high school and we had a cable access sketch comedy show. And then I saw that the Funny Bone was offering stand-up classes by Jeff Jenna. And they also changed the age that they were allowing people to come see shows. So you could work there if you were 19 and a day years old to serve alcohol, but they made the club exclusively 21 and up. And I was just like, well, I want to see shows. Ooh, and I want to take this class. So I got a job serving and then I took that class. Locally, and everybody has these different cliques. That is one struggle that I still have 20 years is the stigma of people who knew me or know me locally is that I started off kind of like you're saying with TikTok selling out funny bones. That funny bone doesn't care about content. They care about sales, that it's a business. And that I'm 100% fine with. But locally, we had two clubs. We had Funny Bone and we had Go Bananas. Go Bananas is what the local comedians were just like, well, this is where real comedy is. Where Funny Bone was like, we don't care. We just want to sell drinks and wings and make money. And so we'll have whoever who was on Hanging with Mr. Cooper, or this different TV show, or was on one season of SNL or whatever. We'll have them come through, which is kind of like the same thing they're doing now. But this is back in the day when there was a show on Thursday, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, and 1 show Sunday, and sometimes a Wednesday show, depending how well they sold. So now, like, comedians who get upset about the quote unquote, like, social media comedians that are selling out live events, I have had my own struggles of hearing about people talking about the sanctity of comedy or what comedy is. So that's not even anything that bothers me. So like if I go and see, or I want to see whatever TikTok star, or just say a Matt Rife or whatever, who probably most notably one of the famous TikTok comedians. If I'm going to see him and I like his personality and then I get there and he does a shit show, then I'm not
laughing at the idea that you watch a Matt Rife clip and be like, man, this kid's personality is incredible. He seems like a great dude. I just want to hang out with this guy more.
Yeah, based on what Glenn and like Tanya meeting me was, like, I love me some fuckboys. Like, I just need to go see some fuckboy comedy. When Glenn and I talk about all the time right now, the bad boys of comedy. Yeah, there is comedy I don't like, but there's plenty of other artistic expressions that I don't like. But if you like someone that you see online and you go see them live and they still entertain you, great.
Yeah. Me not liking Matt Rife's comedy doesn't mean I think Matt Rife is ruining comedy. It's just I don't want to. If he's coming through town, I'm probably not going to go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh, he's ruining the art. I mean, he's doing a bad job of the art that I care about, but
for you. But there are people who are
there's
just
lots
like,
of people with bad taste who love that shit. And that's fine. I have bad taste in other stuff. I mean, I can't think of any examples off the top of my head. My taste is impeccable, but I'm sure there's something that it's like, oh yeah, I have. I don't know. I ate a frozen toaster strudel for breakfast. And I was like, this is one of the most perfect foods created in the history of humanity. And I'm sure there's like chefs who are like, you absolute little garbage panda. You need to learn to eat like a proper croissant. And it's like, nah, man, those don't come with a little icing packet.
Oh, see, so if the chef there that said that to you, he's like, you garbage panda, you need to eat a proper croissant. Because that's how they would say it if they wanted to be smug about your toaster strudel choices. Yeah. Okay. So Tanya, now that you're getting started in 2023 and it's the landscape has changed, but something Glenn and I have said that like it might be different, but it's the same but different. So
hey, just I'm instating a new rule where you have to let Tanya answer for as long as your questions are as a minimum.
Oh, I'm just gonna say this topic thing, just connecting to the end of that.
You're asking your 8-minute questions, getting 30 seconds of an answer, and then moving on to the next question.
It's all good.
Before it used to be these people trying to get sitcoms or these people with these one episode guest star television, credits. And so I think that's not too dissimilar from now and the social media stars. Maybe the people that they didn't start doing like comedy is not how this is just a byproduct of come and pay and see this person that you've seen on TV before.
Yeah. Okay. You're saying it's very similar to like back then when like
I think it's the same but different. Yeah.
It's more accessible now. Maybe more of these like stars. The stars are like social media stars. That's interesting.
I think some people feel like they have more of a personal connection because it's social media and this facade of because you can follow someone or like them, or as Glenn said, mutual. I mean, there are some people that are just like, oh my God, you see this person following? We're mutuals now. I'm mutuals with Matthew McConaughey. He must love me. He must validate everything I am.
I think it was Tay Diggs years ago, like hired a social media manager, and that person just followed like 40,000 people in a day, and everyone was like, why did Tay Diggs follow? And like everyone was having that reaction because it was early enough in Twitter that like it was like people didn't necessarily understand what was going on, but also everyone that I was working with all got followed by Tay Diggs and I didn't, and I was like, hey man, come on. Like it's clearly you just went down the staff of Geekosystem, but like throw
Oh, it was that specific. You felt targeted that like it was a choice not
it was everyone at Geekosystem and the Mary Sue except for me got followed by Tay Diggs in like over the course of 3 days, and I was like, oh well, I'll probably get it tomorrow. Then I never did.
They probably didn't think I love that you were assuming that Tay Diggs had a social media manager, and that one day
Tay Diggs is just going there smash and follow on 40,000 people.
If I was as good looking as Tay Diggs, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because then that would make people's day.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like he probably has more important things going on. I also don't know anything about that man's life. Maybe he doesn't.
Do you know Tay Diggs, Tanya?
I know him mainly from this Twitter thing.
Oh, ex-husband of Idina Menzel and Rent. Oh,
wow.
So good.
But I do want to say, like, back to
I didn't realize you knew everything about it. I didn't realize you were number one Tay Diggs fan. Does he follow you on Twitter, a website you still use?
His episode of Sesame Street, his song with Elmo driving in the car. Oh, so good.
I didn't realize how deep this ran.
You take off that shirt and it's just a Tay Diggs. I love Tay Diggs.
He's got the full tattoo. Ex-husband of Idina Menzel, future husband of me, Ricky Glore. I'm gonna marry that man.
Ex-husband of Idina Menzel, future husband of Nadal Dazim.
Love that. Okay, no, I hate social media. I think we just need to. We all do. Yes, it's the worst. It's like ruining our brains. Yeah, you're obsessed.
I can't get enough.
But no. Anyways,
what made you think that Glenn and I would also dislike?
No, I genuinely like
or
it.
Feel like, yeah.
I'm not being sarcastic. I think it is an overall benefit to the world. I think it is just that the world that is using it is bad.
I think the shareholders that they're providing value to are bad. Like, I think
the companies are bad.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think they could exist in a way that is beneficial to humanity, but their goals are profits over people. So it's not built in a way that's good for our brains, and that's my issue with it. But anyway, like for comedy specifically, it's like such a chore to like post your clips, and like all those metrics do matter. Like I've been attending like panels for like making it in comedy, and they all say like, okay, well basically like your follower count matters. That matters if you want to ever perform at a place like the Funny Bone. And I'm like, okay, well that takes so long to build, and it's just like you're fighting an algorithm at the end of the day, and that's why people
you're not even focusing on the thing.
Yeah,
you're not even focusing, you're literally calling it content. It's not art. Like no one calls, I gotta go create some art. That's like true. I would like it so much more. It's again, it goes back to me with like the word mutual. It all smatters of a boardroom, exactly of what you were saying. Just these certain very specific terms. But yeah, so how do you?
Ricky's an old man, and this is the cloud he likes to yell at.
No. Glenn and I have talked about it. Like stand-up is not my favorite form for me personally, of artistic expression. Like I would rather make a movie.
He's into balloon art, actually.
Oh yeah, I figured.
If I could do balloon art, should I take a class?
I'll send you. I have a friend who's a balloon artist who made a DVD, like instructing you how to make balloon animals and stuff. I'll send you the copy.
I have threatened to bring Norm Macdonald on stage sometime.
Do it, you coward.
Which would solidify the other comedians in Cincinnati who hate me. that would just right there. Yeah. Because I don't know about you, Tanya, but like for me, the issue that I run up against with wanting to do a lot of different forms of comedy within my stand-up, I'm like, well, I don't want to just stand there and talk. Like I want it to be more of a vaudevillian kind of experience that we don't know what is going to entertain us in this, whether it's going to be jokes, whether it's going to be stories, whether it's going to be songs. Like I just want it to be open for anything. In the Columbus scene, is it a supportive scene that everyone's just like, yeah, do whatever? Or is there like a cliquey of just like, ooh, do whatever, but we're silently judging you?
It's so interesting because I'm curious. I think Cincinnati's a more mature comedy scene than ours, so I'm curious what your interpretation is. But like for here, like I think our scene is like, especially after the pandemic, it's just like rebuilding, and like I think it's a lot of people just doing regular like talking to a mic stand up. But there are a couple acts out here, like my friend Allison McBain does like music and comedy at the same time. There's one puppet comedian, and I wish there were more of that because I think that would just like grow this art form here. But yeah, like I've heard that's the same with like if you go to Austin, like a lot of people aren't, it's different than LA, where in LA you have all those different acts. But in Austin, I heard it's just very like talking to a mic comedy. But how is it in Cincinnati?
Again, it's that Funny Bone Go Bananas thing. It's weird how much that's still it was a Jets and Sharks thing back in the day. A funny stop just to mention.
And Sharks. I thought you said Jets and Sharks.
Jets and Sharks.
Like George Jetson. Yeah,
and
but he's
the
Sharks. And I was like,
yeah,
I missed that one. I don't think there's sharks in a single episode of the Jetsons.
You know Snorks? Yeah. It's like they tried to do the Jetsons, but it was underwater, not in space. And they were all sharks. But he was still on the treadmill, and they still had a robot, but it was constantly short-circuiting because they were underwater.
Because of all the water.
Yeah.
Jets, I don't know that reference, though. Jets and Sharks. What is that?
West Side Story.
Oh, you're a big Broadway person. I do. Wow.
I have a theater.
It's because of his love of Taye Diggs.
That's where it started.
Oh, it's all. Yeah. I went to the University of Taye Diggs.
Yeah.
It's much, and I know this happens anywhere. So to mention Funny Stop and Pete, even though that's Akron, to have similarities between areas is the weird shadow committees that can put you on a list based on how they judge your comedy, and a lot of territorialism where like locally there's a collection of comedians that yes have been doing it for a really long time. A lot of them come out of Go Bananas. That club is kind of going way of the dodo, and now Commonwealth is kind of taking over.
Yeah, I heard
the
Commonwealth's the new hotness.
That's the new hotness. And I like the management and the comedians who are behind that a lot more. Some of them are still crossovers from Go Bananas. But Pete at Funny Stop, as well as some people in Cincinnati, if you try to perform anywhere else, you would get blacklisted.
What?
That is some old school Mitzi Shore bullshit, is what
And
that
it
is.
still happens.
Are you serious?
100%. It is wild beyond belief. Unless you're gonna book me every other week, like I'm not going to exclusively do your place or only this kind of show. I've heard that there was a similarity between that and like St. Louis. Gabe Kia had talked about that. The gatekeeping and the territorialism.
I'm in St. Louis next
comedy.
week. I'll ask around when I'm down there. I'll try to sort it
just
out.
yell it out. Like go under
like,
like
hey,
the
what's up
arch
with?
thing,
Yeah. Well, I might go see the Arch. I'm definitely going to go see the Chess Hall of Fame again. So I'll ask if anybody's hanging out down there. Like, what do you guys know about the comedy scene? Is everybody catty little babies? Is that how we do it in St. Louis?
I don't get that. Like and maybe that's the difference between like improv and stand-up, and it's just baked in. But because I am a big fan of just comedy as entertainment, whatever that might be, I'm like, why wouldn't you support one another? Wouldn't the positivity of just being like jazzed for everybody that is also trying to entertain, which I know that's not the goal of every stand-up. My least favorite stand-ups are the ones that go up on stage and are just like, let me just show you how funny I am. And
That's
then
your
they're
least
usually
favorite kind?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
have you guys ever gotten the sense when someone gets them on stage and they just have this air that everything they say should be getting uproarious laughter? They're usually the people that sometime during their set will say, well, that killed in Sarasota or whatever.
You just didn't catch that reference. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always about how the audience isn't as smart as them or as funny as them or as whatever. So that
I can hear this, right?
Sir,
I'm right here on the call.
Talk about how good you are. I've never seen you berate an audience.
That's Glenn's whole.
No, because then they'll be mad at me, and that's my biggest fear.
I know. So that's why
I want them so desperately to like me, but I get them to like me by being like the most clever little boy around.
So my least favorite comedian is the one, the dude broke the Bad Boys of Comedy who go up there and just be misogynistic, racist, and
that's why I was surprised. We were like, oh, my least favorite comedian is the one who tries to be funny. I was like, I can think of like 8 other kinds of comics that I would actually want to see less.
It's about quantity.
Yeah.
At that point, there's more people who are offending me with the going up on stage and not caring about the audience. That is my number one.
The Bad Boys. Are you talking? Is that like the Joe Rogan comedians who are these
any of the mother? Yeah, any of the mothership.
It's a general term.
Anybody, but it's not even just that collection of group. It's anybody that is currently doing stand-up that is using hate speech in some way to just be like, look, we got to talk about these things. We got to say these things. I'm going to say some things that might offend you, but that's comedy. Like, that's comedy. And it's just like, again, they're entertaining a group of people. At what point does it become you're building a religion, you're building a cult?
Right. Jeselnik, I would say, is probably the best bad boy of comedy. Right? Like, of the people who do it, I think he's doing it the most intentionally and thoughtfully. I still don't love it, but like, I'm less quick to write him off completely than some of the other guys. It's like I see what you are doing and how you're doing it. The end result is not something I enjoy watching, but you are putting thought into this beyond just like, oh, I'm gonna go see how many slurs I can say before they cut my mic. Like,
yeah.
But on, I think his most recent special, he says something in the effect, he's like, oh, you know, I'm a comedian and it's 2023, so now I got to do my trans joke. It's like, you don't actually, you can just, you don't have to, like, and I get that that's part of the joke, is him being like, oh, it's now like a requirement, but it's like, you don't have to, you can just not do it. You can talk about something else.
And again, it's my personal, I'm not saying it should be outlawed, but the whole vibe of it went from almost like roast battle to kill Tony.
Yep.
And I don't like the vibe that it went from roast battle to kill Tony, because it just, in my opinion, feels like it's getting worse.
Yes.
And I don't know what the next thing is, except for even more harder public humiliation. Like, I get Kill Tony's a little bit of a gong show for stand-up, and they're exploiting the idea that people think they're so funny that they're going to get up and they're delusional. And it's like William Hung, like a bad American Idol audition. I don't like that, because it's not the comedy. That's not a comedy. Like, I don't want to watch roast battle. I don't want to watch people picking on people. Like, it's just not, I don't like it.
Is there a big
like
roast scene in Columbus, Tanya?
There is, yeah. There's like a
it
big,
really spread everywhere, didn't it?
And you're like the king of you're just like, yeah.
He's like, actually, I've been making some notes on you two idiots.
Yeah, on you dum-dums.
And then she just burns our asses for the next 15 minutes.
I've done one roast battle. I mean, I don't love it because, like, as an Indian woman, like, it's easy to punch down on minorities.
You're going to get a lot of the same jokes.
Yeah, the jokes are written for you. It's harder to, like, for me to roast, like, a white woman. Like, it's just, like, that's why I like good roast writers, like, people who are dig deep, you know, learn more about the person, make it a little personal. But, like, yeah, like, I just don't like it because, like, I watch it and I'm like, you're all just making racial jokes that, like, anyone can make about anyone. It's not about the specific person. Include any black person on the stage.
Right.
You would say
any brown person could be standing there being the butt of this 200-year-old racist joke.
Yes.
And that's what I don't like about it, is it propagates this idea that it's okay to be mean-spirited.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just a yucky feeling that, I don't love. I'm curious to see where stand-up comedy specifically, maybe film comedy too, goes in the next couple of years. But that also might go hand in hand with social political climate as well.
That's true. Yeah. That's interesting.
What is your favorite spot in Columbus? I will tell you mine is #Comedy Club. Because I think Hannah has really put together a great space. And again, I don't know personally or have, I'm trying to think of Zach Wyckoff. He's Cincinnati. He was from Columbus. So, like, I know him, but I don't know anybody in that scene. When we hung around for the open mic, it was great. We already told this story last week, didn't we, though, Glenn? Who was
an open mic that we left early because I was a sleepy boy.
Who was the kid? I'm gonna call him kid in the green room.
We stuck around for maybe 5 or 6 comics at the open mic, but like it started at like 10:30. And we were hanging out at the club after our show. I had driven all day from New Jersey to be there. So like, I would love to hang out and watch everybody and like support this local scene that was kind enough to have me. But also, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And also, open mic comedy is so hard to sit through. And most of the people that we saw were doing a great job. There was one guy, we admitted that we both genuinely were like, this sucks. You're just doing Family Guy jokes and you're not doing them well. But there was one kid we were talking to in the green room, comedy. And we're like, oh, I would like to see this guy just because we were talking to him for a bit.
In the green room. Is that what you're talking?
Yeah. Which I don't know if you know this. It's because it used to be outside and it's calming.
Is that true? Is that the correct? Tell me.
The green M&M makes you horny.
Someone Google it.
But I wanted to watch this kid because he seemed nice but weird, which is kind of the vibe that I am attracted to in comedians. I want nice little weirdos up there trying their best.
Yeah.
And like this kid was sitting in the green room with us, and he's like, "Oh, were you guys on the last show?" And we're like, "Yes." And he's like, "What was the show?" And we're like, "It was us. We were the show." He's like, "Oh, how did you guys get booked on it?" We're like, "How did we get booked on our own show?" I don't understand. I don't understand the question.
Who runs that show?
Yeah, who books the two of you? We do. Like, that's how did you guys book it? We decided to do it. I don't understand. Like, how did we get here? I don't know. Ricky did a show a couple months ago, and that went well enough that now here we are. And then he had another weird question that's like, I cannot wait to watch this dude tell jokes. But the list of comics was like 35 people long. I'm like, I do not have it in me to be here until 1 a.m. watching open mic comedy.
To that space in a great location, having an open mic on a Friday that was very well attended. It was you weren't there, Tanya, but there was what would you say, Glenn, 5 times the amount of people at the open mic.
So many more people
at
the open mic.
You had a great show. Great. Yeah.
Oh man, it hurt my feelings so bad to see how many people came at Nate, 10 o'clock for a free open mic than at 7 o'clock or whenever our show was.
Zach, who was the bartender for our show, hosted the open mic, did fantastic, gave us each 5 minutes at the top of the show. I think Glenn did 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I did like 4 because we just really just like, again, we were tie boys.
Yeah.
But where are your hot spots that you would suggest people just getting started off and stand up in the Columbus area to hit up?
Well, hashtag's my favorite. I performed there a lot. They booked me a lot. Hannah's a good friend of mine too. I know you had her on your pod.
She's great. She cracks me up. I'm sorry. She said, she's like, would you like Tanya to MC a few months ago when she reached out? And I was like, no, I want you to MC. I was like, I think you're hilarious. I was like, I don't know Tanya. Who is this Tanya? I hate her.
Yeah.
But then Glenn was just like, no, Tanya's gonna open her. It's gonna be great. And then it said as I was not to see Hannah perform. Hannah as an audience member couldn't be better. She's a fantastic audience member.
Her laughs. Yeah.
So good.
Not a huge turnout, but we did both have a really good time at the show. I guess all 3 of us. I'm not to speak for. I'll speak for. I'm more comfortable speaking for Ricky than I am speaking for you. But he and I talked about it afterwards. Like, no, that was not a ton of people came, but it was. I always blame that on us, not the venue.
I also think it's the time of day. It's also a weird time where people are still like not going to comedy shows because the OC football game is like their event to go out that weekend, So
we heard all the excuses that there was the comedy fest the week before. But none of that is valid, Tanya, because you know how many people came to that open mic at 10:30?
All right.
Well, that was I mean, to be fair, it's mostly the comics.
It's like a list of anyways, no, I love hashtag because I also produce a show there. A company called Spice Up Beats. It's one of the ideas I pitched at a business pitch competition that I'm still working on. So they let me work there and do that there. And then
what is it? Are you allowed to say?
That's the podcast you mentioned?
Yeah, it's sort of. Yeah, it's not a podcast yet, but I want it to be because I think it could be great. But the idea I pitched at Give Back Hack in 2019 was an event where I interview a chef while the attendee tries their food. And so we ran several events before the pandemic shut us down of like multi-course meals. I interview a chef. And it was a great time, but like I wasn't a comedian, so like sometimes it leaned sad because I would interview a lot of immigrant comedians and they would talk about their lives and stuff. And then it's
so when you were fleeing the war, was that did that inspire these dumplings at all?
Right. So then when I put it on hold, I like didn't know how to get back to it because I'm just still figuring out post-pandemic life, jobs, house, etc.
Sure.
We had bought a house like in 2021 and then I was laid off for my job around that time. So I had to like put everything on the back burner. But so when I started in 2023, I got like this passion back of like doing events and it helped me start producing Spice Up. Now it's 2 comedians interview a chef. That's what we do now. So I interview a local chef and they make like a handheld bite for everyone. And they interact with the audience when they're handing it out to them before the show. But I interview the chef with another comedian and usually it's like I've gotten like outside headliners so far. I have a show this Friday. I'm having a local comedian do it with me, but it's just like super fun because it's like also improv. We learn about their life and we try and keep it lighthearted, no crying, ideally. So, but I'm recording these.
So good. Thank you for pleasing my mouth hole.
Mouth hole, no.
Yeah. No? Is that
yeah.
weird?
I don't know.
About once or twice an
describe?
episode, Ricky just picks the worst way to describe something.
Oh, that's right. I did do that. Oh, that's right. Did I do that on the episode last week, or did I just
forget?
do you
I
on a
forget
phone call?
what you said. It might have been.
It was a text. I think it was a voice note. I said a phrase for the ears, and Glenn just wrote back, "Ew."
Yeah, yucky.
But I record it, and I think I want to upload it as a podcast. I'm not sure. So we're seeing. I have all the videos. I'm not sure what I want to do with it.
When you were talking about it when we were there, it sounded like a really fun idea. I was just, while you were talking, I was looking up to see if there's any good Hungarian food in Columbus.
Are you Hungarian?
My great-grandparents came over from Hungary.
Oh.
So usually when I'm on the road, I will look, but there's one in Columbus. I forget what town. It's like northeast, but the times that I've been out there, I think it's closed on Mondays. And it's got like literally 2 tables. They will only take a limited number of takeout orders in a day. So I haven't been able to try it, but every time I'm near Northeast Ohio, I try to make it happen, and it never works.
You gotta let me know.
It's supposed to be really good, but also I'm also a vegetarian, so like my options are limited, but they have a couple options there.
I'm sorry. Before I said I didn't know any Columbus comedians, I've just now been going through the Rolodex. Jesse Pimpinella, who's been very supportive and opened the show I did at #FirstTime, and Nikki Winkleman, who I've worked with a couple of times. Yeah. So yeah, Columbus has a really fantastic up and coming scene.
There aren't many people doing it full time. It's a lot of amateurs. So I do want. At some point, I'm thinking about like I need to leave at some point once I start building what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Leave the aquarium.
Yeah.
And where do you think you'd go? What's attracting you the most right now?
I think I'd want to do something where like I stay a little bit in a city just to see if I want to live there long term. Like New York's the dream. I would love to do New York. I want to figure out how to be a comedy writer too somehow. And then my sister lives in LA, so it just makes sense if I try and stay there for a little bit too while she's still there.
Do you know how you become a comedy writer?
What? Right.
You write.
Well, that's why I started doing stand-up, because I went to school for film, and then comics were getting jobs that I was getting passed over for. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just go do stand-up until I get one of these writing jobs I want.
Yeah.
Well, you are a comedy writer, Tanya. You've been paid to write comedy. Like, I think that's something that we forget. Like that. Anytime you go on stage and you do a set, and if you get any bit of coinage, I think getting paid also includes, I mean, not always financially, like an audience showing up and hearing you and stuff. If they gave you a beer or a couple of drink tickets, like you're a paid comedy writer.
True.
Who is your Mount Rushmore?
I feel like that's
comedy?
a bit of a stretch.
Fuck you, Glenn.
Oh, you got a beer? You're a working professional. I mean, I'm not trying to put down Tanya specifically. I'm just
classic. You bringing down a woman,
smug genie. Yeah. Oh yeah,
a woman of color comedian on your podcast.
Yeah, that's why we brought you on, so I can take you down a few pegs.
Culturally appropriating genie. I get it.
Is your Mount Rushmore of comedy? Is it just stand-ups, or do you include writers, performer? Like who do you draw the most inspiration for, or just really adore?
Yes, I have a list. I've done this before. Yes. So like I grew up watching a lot of Conan O'Brien, who like honestly I don't even know if I've seen his stand-up. Just him and his personality on that show was great. I obviously John Mulaney was I don't know why I said obviously. John Mulaney was a big influence growing up.
Obviously, John Mulaney was a huge inspiration.
And then Ali Wong, and then Richard Ayoade is one of my top faves comics. He's just like his type of dry British
Travel
humor.
Man is so good.
So funny. So funny. And then like Jordan Peele I put up there because like I really horror is my favorite genre, and like his ability to like, you know, do horror after doing comedy, I just feel like it is genius, and I want to get there someday. But
yeah, I'm a big fan of, again, he doesn't sit on his laurels. of what he's doing in any genre, whether it be horror or in his ability to then produce this wide array of other artists who are wanting to get into the horror genre like him. I love to, even though I heard him is not getting, with Marlon Wayans, is not getting the greatest reviews. It's still
is that Football Training Day?
Yeah. But again, though, like,
I didn't realize that
doesn't look boring. Looks really
interesting. He didn't direct it, right? He just produced?
No, just produced.
Okay.
I
saw the trailer for it and I was like, oh, they're doing Training Day, but at football. Okay.
Okay, yeah. I'll watch it, but yeah.
I won't, but
no. But
I have minimal interest in the movie Training Day and almost no interest in football. So not for me.
But so much interest in Marlon Wayans playing kind of like an unhinged, concussed old football player mentor. Like that. That is what, and then the visuals. The Jordan Peele. I have not appreciated a filmmaker more who I have disliked their movies as much as I had. Like Nope, I appreciated how it was exactly the movie he wanted to make, but by the end of it, I was just like, man, the balls you had calling this movie Nope, where the easiest review could have been like 1 star. Nope.
Right.
No, thank you. But yeah, keep doing it, man. That's again, it goes back to me for like the whole comedy outlook. Like, yeah, what do you want to do? Do it. Find your audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully it's not hate speech, but you know.
Oh, I forgot to mention Chris Fleming too. I recently saw Chris Fleming here.
Yes.
So good, and just like it's so, his act is so different than anything I've seen, and it's working, and yeah, just so funny.
That is the dream, to just be able to go on stage and be confident and comfortable in whatever artistic expression that you're putting forth. Would you want to write a sitcom? Like if you're being a comedy writer, would you like to be part of like a writer's room, or would you want to do more of like a late night, since your attraction to Conan and like you wrote for The Simpsons, you wrote for Saturday Night Live?
Yeah. You said attraction to Conan. I'm dating a ginger.
Attraction to Conan.
The coolest one I could get my hands on.
He's 6'4". He's pale.
He's still my
he
heart.
does the weird puppet dance.
Yes, that's what got me. No, both. So I've been trying to work this into something, but like my initials are TV, and so I'm like, I'm destined to do this at some point, work on TV. But both, I kind of want to see what it would be like to honestly write for The Onion. I think that would be like up my alley. And then I do like, I took like a course to learn how to do script writing with Mike Larson. He's a local comedian here. He used to work in LA. But I took like a script writing course from him to try and figure out how to do that, because it seems like unless you know someone in the industry, it's impossible to get a show bought by, large platforms.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
so,
it's always about like kind of, I think, who you know. The only thing is I would say with I don't know if you know this website, Writers Duet. Writersduet.com is a great free script writing program. If anybody that's listening who is as old as Glenn and I, Celtics used to be kind of a good program. If you weren't familiar,
that is the weirdest, most specific like grudge / disappointment I have in my life is how great I believe it's pronounced Celtics.
Is it? I'm sorry.
How great it was when it started and I was in college and I was like telling everybody how great it was to what it is now, which is just like bullshit. And I'm so mad about it because they're like, oh, we're gonna do an open source, like Final Draft charges so much money. We're gonna do a great free open source version that anyone can use, and they started adding all these great tools for like pre-production, and I'm like, this is the script writing part of it was like good enough, but then all the other stuff, like you could do a budget, you could do like character breakdowns all within storyboard, well before Final Draft added them. It's like, you guys are doing great work. It's incredible that this is open source. And they're like, oh yeah, actually it's now a monthly subscription because we hate you. we hate our users so much. We don't respect you, so you have to pay us $20 a month now to use this free thing. It's like, well, can I keep using the free version that's been on my laptop forever? They're like, no, we're gonna
doesn't
break
work anymore. Bugs. Right. So yes, writers do it. So don't let anybody tell you that your script has to be formatted a certain way.
Okay.
Let them tell you that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no. Let them tell you that and format it correctly. Yeah. If you're just doodling it on a napkin, no one's going to read it. It's got to look like a screenplay. What are you talking about?
It's got to look like a screenplay.
You don't have to write it in Final Draft.
Right. But what I'm saying is it's got to look like a screenplay, but you can get mired down in the idea that like, oh, I can't do this because this won't one-to-one look like this. The most important thing is, this is smart. I was going to tell you how wrong I am immediately when I'm done, is as long as it kind of is formatted in the way, it has that, when I pick it up, it's just like, yeah, this is a script. And using Writer's Duet will do that for you. What flavor and spaces in between lines and the way you italicize and different things. Now, don't be a maniac and have it look like a ransom note, but as long as, or do that, like, right? Like there's plenty of stories where these scripts that aren't traditionally presented end up, now, like you said, it's usually about knowing somebody. It's kind of that networking, and that's how you get in the door. It's always somebody's cousin or friend or whatever. Yeah. But like the American Pie script, the title of it on the main page, because they knew that would be maybe the only thing people would read, was a paragraph. It was called Untitled Sex Comedy That Will Make a Lot of Money and Will Not Take a Lot of Money to Be. It was something like that, something crazy. So someone could look at that and just be like, well, no, that's incorrect. You should never do that. Like, you should never put a, like.
Right. And I'm sure a lot of people did. I'm not saying everything has to be, letter pixel perfect of this is exactly how you do it. But if you're like, hey, can you read my screenplay? And I say yes, and I open it and it's just unbroken text for 16 pages, I'd be like, hey, bud, this isn't a screenplay. This is a thing I'm not going to read, is what it is. But if it's like, oh yeah, like if you do a couple weird things to like try to stand out, great. Like there's a guy I follow on TikTok who's a screenwriter who gives like a lot of advice to people. I cannot remember his username. I'll check and drop it in the show notes when we release the episode. But there was one that I saw of him where people were talking about like title pages, where it's like traditionally same, Courier font size, just title in quotes by your name, your phone number at the bottom with an email address. That's it. That's your title page. But now people are doing like stylized ones, and there's like a debate where it's like, well, no, like the shooting scripts are sometimes stylized, or when they get published, they'll use the stylized font from like the poster for like the print version, but like you should still do it the other way. And people are like, it sets a tone. Like if you look at if you're reading the script for Scream or whatever, and it's Scream font on the first page and it's called Scream, you already know, okay, I have a pretty good sense of what this is going to be.
Makes sense.
So that's, I mean, I don't mean like don't ever do anything different. I just mean like it's got to at least vaguely resemble a screenplay. Ricky's sending me stuff on napkins. He's in there.
Written in blood. It's weird.
He's writing it on an Etch-a-Sketch. He's like, you got to read it, but you got to be real careful.
It's the only copy I have.
Otherwise, we're going to have to do the whole thing over again. It's going to take days.
I know you guys got to go. I have questions for you, if that's okay.
Yeah. Let's use this last time for you to ask us.
Really, I have 3 things. Okay. Number 1.
Why do you suck?
Yeah. If you could tell me who your number 1 favorite comedian is.
Steve
and
Martin.
Then number 2, if you could tell me, give me advice as a new comedian. I'm 2 years in. If like you have any advice for me, that'd be great. Number 3, if you could add a poll to this that asks people if Lenny Bruce was hot or not. That's what I want.
Real Lenny Bruce, not Marvelous Miss Maisel Lenny Bruce.
Real Lenny Bruce,
or Dustin Hoffman,
not Luke Kirby. Or Dustin.
Hoffman. Steve Martin answer for number 1 is the answer that I always give. Also Fozzie Bear, because it's because of the Steve Martin episode of the Muppet Show. The second one, advice. The advice I always give people when they're like new is like, oh, you just have to like do it. You have to go do open mics. You're either going to get better or you're going to quit. But at 2 years in, I was like, you've already been doing it, so like that's not that helpful. So I'm trying to think of like what the next bit of advice is. But I think that you already landed on it earlier. We were talking about like, oh, you have to do shows out of town. Like you can't just do the same 3 venues, you know, month after month. You have to go try new places to try to build an audience that way. Because like if you're just doing the same few venues, people around town be like, oh, Tanya's hilarious. We always love when Tanya drops in on the shows. It's always a good time, but there's only so many people who are going to go to those shows. So get out. I disagree on the whole thing about, you know, oh, it sucks that now as a comedian, we also have to be content creators, because that's not specific to comedy, right? Like there's bakers who are like, well, fuck, now I got to put cupcakes on Instagram every day. But also comics were complaining about that, about like the radio. So it's, again, it's not even a new complaint. They're like, I'm a vaudeville man. I don't need to be on the new fancy radio. I don't need to talk into a microphone. I just yell in theaters, baby. That's what I do. It's like, it's not a new complaint, and it's, you know, you got to adjust with the times. And the third one, yeah, I mean, I'll put the poll up. I absolutely, Lenny Bruce smoke show.
That's it.
Would, as the children say. Or I guess young people. I probably shouldn't say children.
Children are always saying. I'm around so many children.
Oh, so many 19-year-olds are out there being like, you know who's hot? 70s drug comedian Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce.
I would say, yeah, Steve Martin's definitely up there. Paul Rubens, I think, Pee Wee Herman, who Glenn and I each share as well, as being someone that we admire and shaped us tremendously. One of the other Cincinnati things, and this will be part of my advice, is similar to Glenn. There's this real weird sense in Cincinnati amongst a lot of comedians that you should wait to be asked to perform or for opportunities, that you shouldn't try to set up your own things, because then it makes it look like you didn't earn it. Which I'm just like, okay. I'll have fun sitting by that phone and staying in Cincinnati. There's a lot of this thing of like, well, if you're really good, a bigger name will ask you to come on tour with them, and that's how you break.
Well, that's the Steve Martin quote of "Be so good they can't ignore you," which like is the advice he gives to new comics in Born Standing Up, but it's also kind of bad advice. It's like, yeah, you can be really good, people will still ignore you. Like, if, you know, unless you also take the Mel Brooks advice of like, if you want to be a coal miner, move to Pennsylvania, where it's like, yeah, I mean, if you go to bigger comedy scenes, you will have more opportunities. But like, I started doing comedy in the Lehigh Valley of Pennsylvania. I was like, I could be the greatest comedian in the world, but if you're just doing it in Bethlehem and Allentown, that's it. Like, you have to go out and do other places. And I mean, doing stuff on social media is a great way to do that without actually having to move. That is one of the many reasons that social media is only good, and there's no downside to it at all. I can't think of a single time it's ever done anything bad. It's good that billionaires control.
It's increasing the accessibility. You're right, to comedy and like people. Yeah.
Yeah. And a part of that will also be a format that I really like, that I need to start doing maybe more of to work these muscles. Is early on when I moved back from Chicago back to the Cincinnati area, I started doing stand-up more because I had been doing improv and theater and acting in Chicago, and writing and directing shows. We started doing a format where there were 3 comedians, and we would book ourselves every weekend, and whatever, this is before the breweries and the wineries kind of gotten taken over. They were the modern day coffee houses. And before pandemic, they weren't being run by entertainment companies specifically booking shows there. So you could reach out to them and get a show anywhere. But we would do, every show we would change who was where on the lineup. So you might be the MC, you might be the feature, you might be the headliner. So stretching those muscles in each of the different positions of a show, I think will just only well round you even more. The other advice is just authenticity. I think, I mean, it sounds like an easy advice, but like, just don't write to market. Like, not that you would, but like, even if you're writing and you're following the format of, say, like you're writing a packet for Last Week Tonight, like they will very clearly, or like say SNL, they'll very clearly ask you what they want. So to go back to the formatting of the scripts before, so like Last Week Tonight will be like, it has to look like this, but we're going to give it to you, and we're going to give you all the information that you need to write this script packet. But even with that, I wouldn't write to John Oliver's voice. I would write to your authenticity while following the format. Yeah. And so that is
for a submission to Last Week Tonight, you would not write in John Oliver's voice?
I would write the way that they ask me to, but I would make sure that the authenticity of the individual who I am, because then when you get the job, if you can write
job
funny
of writing
material,
for John Oliver's voice,
if when you're submitting a packet, that if you can
I agree with the authenticity bit.
Yeah.
The thing I'm hung up on is like,
no, I hear you. I disagree. Because if you can write
with
funny,
you disagreeing with me on account of how correct I am.
If you can personally show that you are funny from your point, your POV, and that you can write this packet in the way that they've asked for, then maybe for the callback, because you're probably not going to get the job on that first packet, they're going to bring you in and talk to you, or they're going to give you another assignment. And they were like, now write this as if John was reading it from the teleprompter. Then you do it. But again, it's that same thing of get their attention, because they're hiring you. They're not hiring the AI bot that sounds like John Oliver. Again,
I think that makes sense.
My opinion. Gwyneth,
I think I might just be hung up on the wording of how you put it, but sure. I would say like do the authenticity part of like, here I'm going to write stories that are important to me that I know about, where it's like even if it's not specifically John Oliver, if I'm writing like a late night packet, I'm not going to just do monologue jokes of like the biggest news stories of the week. It's like, here's an obscure scientific study that I read. Here's what's going on in the chess world, where it's like, I will find jokes about things other people aren't writing jokes about, because I might not have the best joke about whatever the biggest story is, because 2 million people already made that joke on social media. But if I find, you know, a weird news story that nobody else found, I can do the best joke on that one.
No, if you're writing a spec script, like if you're writing an episode,
if it's a spec script, it has to sound exactly like John Oliver.
Yes,
otherwise
you have to go. Yes, you have. That's It's like, what is your favorite TV show right now, Tanya?
Right now, well, of all time, it's probably Lost, and then Atlanta's also both my favorites. I can't think of anything right now that I'm watching.
So Atlanta would be a great like a spec script, because it could also include that little bit of Jordan Peele sensibilities that you're saying. There's a little bit of horror, there's some tension, there's comedic. There's a lot of genres, I think, within Atlanta. So you could write that and make sure that the characters sound, you know, you have to, you're not going to have access to their show Bible, but you knowing the show and trying to write to their specific voices and situations, that to me is different. But because of the generality of, even if you're not doing the top 40 news stories of the day for a late night, there is a format, and I've said format like 15.
Say format more times if you could.
But again, like what Glenn is talking about, it's the subject matter that you're not making the same 20 Donald Trump jokes or autism jokes or RFK jokes. If you pick something else, it's inherently going to fall in that format of, this is like, I wouldn't say like, write it like David Letterman would say. I think you're then gonna fail. But if you write it as a late night joke because you picked this specific thing and that's what makes you interesting and stand out, then again, the way you write it, if you're submitting for late night, it just inherently is going to be set up, punch, or it's this kind of late night joke, or it's this or whatever. And that's why I don't think the host matters.
I think, does it also help that like I have a Midwestern lens that's different than the coasts? That like, you know, that's how I'm writing.
I think so.
From my perspective.
I mean, I think so, because there is already that, and this is not an old thing of, you know, there's the California sensibility, there's the New York sensibility. Again, you as a Midwesterner, and the stories that like, we always hear these big news stories from these metropolitan areas, but these weird, absurd ones. Most of them are coming out of Florida, so that's another one that's hard. Like late night packet, like I try to like, oh man, let me look up some interesting stories.
It's
that people
because
aren't talking
of
about.
public records laws
Yes.
in Florida specifically. That's why the Florida man thing happened, because so many more weird stories get released to like AP than other states do.
And I
but
haven't heard
you
this
have to
about.
go have an important meeting about your child, and I have to go get diagnosed with autism. Tanya, it's been tremendous talking with you.
Thank you.
I hope you had a great time being talked over mostly by two middle-aged white men. You're welcome back anytime. But we gotta go. What is the name of the show that you were doing?
Spice Up Eats is how they can find.
I was gonna say Sizzle and Bites, but that's the halal place near Steel Tex in Bethlehem that I highly recommend if anybody's in the Lehigh Valley.
I'll head there. Thank you so much for having me. Seriously, I appreciate it. This was so much fun, and for opening for you and hosting for you. That was a lot of fun too.
Of course, it was great
you for
meeting
being
you in person.
Genuinely a good person.
More here.
Yeah, and funny. Thank you.
Yes, did we not say that part? You're very funny and good at comedy.
Yeah.
If we've not mentioned that, we should have.
Right back at you too.
All right, the recording is stopped. The live stream may have never have happened. Who knows? But I got to run. Great talking with you both. Everyone have a cool day.
Thanks. You too.
Tanya, just wanted to say, I didn't want to say it on. Would you like me to send you the late night, the last week tonight submission email and what they have asked for in the past?
Please. Yes. Yes. Anything.
I think you would destroy that packet because they do such a good job at calming your fears of like, oh, what if I'm not giving them what they want?
Yeah.
Like it just might not be what they need at the time, or whatever reason, but they do such a good job at being like, this is what they give you the research. Okay. You don't have to find the story. So they give you the stories like you would be part of the writing staff, and they give you a bunch of tags, bunch of clips, and then you just plug in your approach to said stories.
Okay.
And they do it as what is it? Whatever his first segment is, that is like 5 minutes long before he gets into like the big, like whatever the overarching story is on the show. They do like a shorter one at the beginning, and that's basically what you're writing. It's about, I think, like 5 or 6 pages long.
Oh, is it the monologue, or is that different than?
It might be that. It might just be what they consider is the monologue, where he can kind of scattershot a couple things that then kind of leads into, and like, and now that brings us to like, we're going to discuss blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Late night writing packets are great because those are for me, I think it's the worst one to like judge myself of just being like, well, how absurd do I, like, you get a setup and then you're like, do I make the absurd joke, the low-hanging fruit joke, or a combination of both of those? So they get both of the ways. You'd be like, oh, no, it's not all these jokes are going to be vanilla. It's not just going to be a Mad Lib. Like, but yeah, so I will email that to you. Thank you again so much for coming on our show.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And also I might have more questions because I genuinely want to do this with my life, and I don't know where to start. So
we've not cracked the code.
Okay.
We're just doing, I would love to be part of, if you do start doing a show in Columbus or wherever you end up, and you do start making more kind of like current event jokes, or whatever show you might put together that kind of represents those late nights or whatever.
Yeah. Please
keep me in mind. I love writing a dearth of jokes that even if they don't get used, again, it's the only reason why I still have Twitter is the 140 characters.
Yeah.
And I still call it Twitter. So that just shows you. I have to get running, pop in the school behind me. Later.
Right. I'll see you later. Bye.